remind my colleagues, we're not having a hearing today on the tapes. What we are having a hearing on is legislation that will strengthen the ability to keep these children alive. And it is important that we refocus that and return to this. Yes, these videos are in the public domain now, and we're talking about babies. We're talking about human life, and we're talking about life rights. And it's important for us to return to that focus. Dr. Yost, I would like to come to you, if I may, please. You noted that the Born Alive Infant Protection Act needed to be strengthened, and that there needed to be some criminal penalties put in place that would ensure enforcement. And I would like for you to describe what you see as the weaknesses. I would like to hear from you about what you think we need to do, and then, of course, the legislation that I've brought forward that would address some of those flexibilities for the state. So if you will take a couple of minutes and do that, I would appreciate it.
Thank you, Congresswoman Blackburn. I appreciate the opportunity to address many of the issues that have been raised, and particularly thank you for your legislation, which I believe is a tremendous first step in the direction of addressing some of these really troubling issues that we're discussing today. I think one of the things that has been most surprising for many of us in getting into this time period where we've been looking at these questions is many people aren't even aware that the Born Alive Infant Protection Act, as it was passed years ago, was simply a descriptive bill. That there were,
if I may add there, it passed in '02 on a voice vote in the House. Go ahead.
It passed on a voice vote here, and in the Senate it was unanimous. Yes. And every senator was present, including Senator Hillary Clinton and many other very prominent abortion rights supporters. So what I think is important to note is that this is an issue that is really common sense for everyone. Most people aren't aware that there is no penalty attached to not providing humane care for a baby who's born alive after an abortion. And what we see in our work as Americans United for Life is just earlier this year I was invited to testify in front of the Colorado State Legislature that was looking at a state-based protection for babies born alive. And the Colorado Planned Parenthood came and testified that babies are never born alive after an abortion. And what's particularly, I think, should be a concern to all of us from a human rights perspective is that when a baby is born alive after an abortion, they are at the mercy of someone who has been hired to ensure that their life is not continued.
Let me interject right there and stop you and ask again. Are you aware of cases that have demonstrated that abortion survivors, infants born alive from a botched abortion, that they are killed or denied treatment after birth? Do you know of any cases?
Yes, ma'am. There was a very prominent incident with a pro-life nurse, Jill Stanek, who became pro-life after witnessing a baby that was discarded and set aside and left to perish after being born alive. So, and going to the point about the veracity of the videos, I would just argue that what we're looking at is a question of probable cause for investigation. If we have a situation where a whistleblower has had the courage to come forward and state for the record that she observed a beating heart of a baby after an abortion, I think the burden of proof is then on Planned Parenthood to prove that this is not happening.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have just a couple of seconds left, and I'd like for you to weigh in on this. There was a memo circulated to members yesterday. It was a Planned Parenthood memo that warned the Born Alive Abortion Survivors Protection Act that the House is going to vote on tomorrow, and I'm quoting, rolls back a carefully crafted bipartisan agreement reached in 2002 and would leave, and I'm quoting again, significant uncertainty about what the bill actually does, end quote. Would you talk about that just a moment, please, what the bill does?
Well, I think the advantage of of having this legislation right now is that it actually clarifies what the situation is. Because to have something as serious as a situation where a person is born alive and it's unclear as to what the approach is to that person's life. For example, Planned Parenthood a couple years ago testified in Florida when another state-based born alive bill was being considered. The Planned Parenthood representative was asked what their policy is when a baby's born alive, and she said, well, that is left up to the doctor. So this legislation would clarify that if a baby is born alive, it is a person, and that not providing the humane standard of care that is available to a baby that is born for in the same circumstances, timing, under any other circumstances, that it's a question of fairness.
Thank you. I yield back, Mr.
Chair, thanks to the gentlelady, and now recognize the gentlelady from California.